All right, we're back.
Surprise, motherfucker.
That's right. Let's continue where we left off, shall we? Let's get past this. So they kept the tuning system at least. Ego boost. This will be interesting.
Let's confirm the mission. Intercept the Ekbal airship fleet approaching us here at the Zextex Global Airport, on the double. The enemy's primary weaponry is a group of normals. We've also confirmed that Bharat, Ekbal's top squad of normals, is present. Furthermore, there's a GA VIP aboard the large stealth jet preparing for takeoff on runway number 2. Protecting that craft is your top priority. We've gotten word that you're not cleared to use primal armor until that craft is airborne, to avoid the risk of Kojima contamination. Keep that in mind. Those are your orders.
She said, what was the last thing?
Until that craft is airborne, to avoid the risk of Kojima contamination. Keep that in mind. Those are your orders.
Kojima contamination? So we're gonna start like spouting out Lale Lule Low or something, or what? What's gonna happen if we get contaminated with Kojima? I don't get what's.
Enemy airship squadron confirmed. Prioritize that stealth jet's safety until it's off the ground. You'll also be unable to engage your primal armor until the jet's in the air.
What the fuck is primal armor?
You're nearing the edge of the combat area. Closing in. They're at the storage facility. Intercept immediately. Second enemy wave now beginning its descent. Move to intercept. Targets destroyed. The mission was a success. Good work. Please head back.
You know, outside of the lighting, reminding me of like FF14's lighting engine, you know, PS3 era lighting. Outside of that, the other thing about games in this era is that they all opted for like either gray color filters, some kind of monochrome color filter, whether it was green, gray, brown, just whichever it was, or even if it wasn't a filter, the environments themselves just were very monochrome in a lot of games in this era. Like you see it in Grand Theft Auto 4 even. There was like no color. I don't know what made so many game developers allergic to color during the PS3 era, but it was definitely a thing. There was a lot of monochromatic color schemes in those games back then.
Let's confirm the mission. You're to raid the interior squadron occupying Griffin, the independent city. Destroy their entire force and take back the city. Their core force appears to be a group of normals, but an array of additional firepower has also been confirmed. Of particular concern is Interior's latest creation, the aerial fortress Fermi, which combines Meilée's large model laser cannons with a primal armor mechanism. Those are your orders. Your objective is the Fermi aerial fortress. Optical lock-on capabilities will be limited in the dark. Plan accordingly. Kojima tank unit identified. You should be able to use it to secure some illumination. Destroy it.
that was easy.
Good work. Please head back. I'm glad you're all right. Let's go home. Let's confirm the mission.
That mission down there.
Attack Leonia Mechanica's cyclical power plant, Megalis. Your orders are to strip the facility of all functionality. Megalis is surrounded by a series of anti-air laser cannons set in concentric circles, making it difficult to attack from above. You'll enter the plant's core at the base of the central tower. Destroy all of the large generator turbines there. Those are your orders. Your objectives are the turbines in the central tower. Enter the tower's interior through the base level.
See what I mean about how gray everything is? So I think I only just barely noticed this, but you get infinite ammo, right? I don't see an ammo limiter counter or anything like that. I guess it just goes, it comes out of your paycheck because I saw that there was an ammo quota or whatever. But you can't actually run out.
All objectives eliminated. The mission was a success. Good work. Please head back.
So looking at it up close like this, yeah, the AC does have some textures, but I feel like the textures on objects and stuff were definitely a little bit more noticeable and polished in the older games.
I'm glad you're all right. Let's go home.
Again, it could just be the lighting though.
Let's confirm the mission. A large interior squadron has taken hold of the Robert Meyer Bridge. It's up to you to eliminate them. The enemy's forces consist mostly of normals. There are quite a few of them to deal with. According to a support unit that went on ahead, they've set up special barricades throughout the area that are highly effective against gunfire. We also believe there's a chance they've got some new kind of experimental weapon. Keep your wits about you. Those are your orders. Eliminate all enemy troops. We've received word that more are on their way. Carry out your mission as quickly as possible.
I see it. There it is. The ammo counter right there. I couldn't find it for a while. All out of ammo. Oh no, I had to reload. That's what it was.
Reinforcements have entered the combat area. Not long before contact now. Prepare to intercept. Preparing the edge of the combat area. The mission was a success. Good work. Please head back. Glad you're all right. Let's go home. Let's confirm the mission. Eliminate Ultra's next, Critique, which has taken over GA's Dornier mining station. Critique's pilot, Sharing, is number 14. He's one of the 26 links from the National Dismantlement War, an original. Sharing is a world apart from the irregulars you've faced so far. Look out for Critique's high-power energy cannon in particular. Those are your orders. Come home to us.
She added something extra there. Leon Hart.
That's the enemy next, Critique. He's in a central facility. Destroy him. We're up against him.
That's Anthony's next. There's no mistake. Count on Sharing.
Fighting in the fucking water over here, Jesus Christ. This is normal speed, by the way. I switched it back down. The game is intense. Fell right into the water.
Critique has gone silent. The mission was a success. Good work. Please head back.
Fell right into the water after that. I was wondering what would happen too. I was like, when one of us loses, are we just gonna fall right into the water? Yeah.
An original. He really was in a class of his own. You should get some rest now. Sleep well, soldier.
Bedtime. The womb.
Let's confirm the mission. It appears the Ray Leonard Company has been conducting experiments on a new type of Next underground at their Levantier facility. We don't have any specifics, but our information suggests it's an extremely dangerous craft. Invade the facility and destroy the Next. Tyrant, the Next that GA sent on ahead, hasn't yet returned. Exercise extreme caution. Those are your orders. I've got a bad feeling about this one. Be careful. The underground lab is just ahead. Destroy the new Nexts under development there.
Yo, this song though.
Enemy guard battalion is in position. Break through them. Enemy normal confirmed. You're being sniped. Avoid as much fire as possible. Enemy signatures confirmed ahead. New type of Nexts. They're active. There are 3 of them total. Be careful.
Oh shit!
Surprise, motherfucker!
They're new type. Oh shit, okay. This is starting to ramp up here. The main theme song of the game is playing. I like it.
All enemy crafts destroyed. Pulled it off. Mission accomplished. Good work. Please head back. I remember seeing something that looked like that next in some of my father's documents. The prototype Next. An evil machine that kills its pilot with psychic stress beyond human tolerances, while lethally contaminating the surrounding environment. It's beyond man's control.
Sounds like something out of Gundam Wing.
Its development was aborted and everything destroyed. Would someone really try to dig that skeleton back up?
I mean, the power it seems to offer sounds like it would be tempting, yeah. Empress.
Let's confirm the mission. We've detected Prometheus, a BFF group Next. We need you to destroy it. Prometheus's pilot, Mary Shelley, is a legendary sniper. They say BFF based their entire weapons design philosophy around her combat style. Her number is 5. She's a special threat, even among the originals. Bear that in mind as you go out there. That's not all. We're picking up dense Kojima particle emissions from the ice on Scion Bay. Expect the Kojima interference to weaken your primal armor out there. Those are your orders. You'll be fine. I know you can do this. Enemy Next confirmed. That's Prometheus. She's showing no signs of running. Take her out. Prometheus is hit. Damaging her. Closing in on the target. You have the advantage now. Don't let it get away.
Jesus. Can't tell what the fuck is going on with this lighting.
Best adapted to long-distance combat. It's good. It's useful. My superiority is...
Fuck! I got bruises!
has ceased activity. The mission was a success. Good work. Please head back.
Look how dark it is. You see shadows of the Next.
So you outmanned even number 5. You're a breed apart. Perhaps unique in your skill. You should get some rest now. Sleep well, soldier.
Chapter 4, Towards Zero.
Let's confirm the mission. You're going after the BFF group directly this time. Destroy the Queen's Lance, BFF's flagship and acting headquarters. The Queen's Lance is nestled amid a massive defensive fleet. It's going to be nasty out there, but there's no avoiding it. The Queen's Lance is your only target. Ignore the rest of the fleet. Just be sure to sink that flagship. BFF is notorious for their highly centralized command structure. If this operation succeeds, they'll be dead in the water. This is an extremely important mission. Those are your orders. There's no turning back now. One of the 6 companies just fell by your hand. I never imagined it would come to something like this. You're truly amazing. I never would have guessed, looking at you back then. I miss those days.
Also, I went back to look at during the break at her name was Fiona. I think I said Sophia, but it was Fiona. If assuming that's supposed to be her. I miss those days. She's getting all nostalgic.
We've confirmed an unidentified weapon in the gear tunnel. It's big, and it's headed for Anatolia, fast. I'm afraid we may be looking at a large-scale, highly destructive weapon. There's no time. You have to intercept it. Please!
Jesus. That sounds way more desperate because of the fact that I have it at 1.5.
Closing rapidly. You have to stop it here, please. Sighted.
Is this a rear view camera? Holy shit.
Rectifier destroyed. 3 units left. Enemy rectifier destroyed. 2 remaining units. All enemy rectifiers destroyed. Enemy prime armor disabled. Concentrated attack. Massive weapon destroyed. All activity ceasing. Energy spike detected.
It is in.
Going to explode.
Oh
Get out of
shit.
there. It's over. We managed to stop it. Thank you. We owe it all to you.
I was expecting a bigger explosion, but okay.
Good work.
Dude, the amount of
Let's go home.
backseating she does is insane. She's the most chatty like operator we've had in all the Armored Core games. It's actually nuts.
That had to have been a new prototype weapon from one of the companies. But why Anatolia? What's happening? What does this mean?
I mean that you've been targeted? Like, I don't understand why she's freaking out
What's
so
happening?
much.
What does this mean?
Isn't this just standard procedure for being at war? Like, do you not expect retaliation?
The attack on the Queen's lands. It was this mission which sealed the fate of the Pax Economica. The massive BFF group lost its military infrastructure. Ray Leonard's fragility as a nascent corporation had become increasingly apparent, leading them to increasingly direct and risky tactics. A direct next attack on their enemy's core. Ray Leonard and its ally Aquavit pooled their nexts and the dangerous new behemoths and launched a large-scale surprise assault. So began the Lynx War. Massive colonies toppled helplessly, while Kojima contamination spread unchecked. After taking a fatal blow in the early days of the assault and being driven into a defensive war, Omer's last hope was Joshua O'Brien, an Aspina mercenary and our man. Those two were unparalleled on the battlefield. It was enough to make even me, an ally, anxious, even afraid.
Let's confirm the mission. Eliminate the BFF remnants that have taken hold of the Rosgul colony's subterranean facility. The enemy is primarily made up of BFF standard normals, most of them probably equipped with long-range sniper weapons. They're using electronic countermeasures, so you're going in radar blind. Expect them to take advantage of the complex interior layout and set up ambushes. Stay calm and use your head. Those are your orders. Destroy the enemy's main force. Squad BFF orders. The enemy has engaged ECM, as our reports. Sighting by radar will be extremely difficult. glad you're all right. Let's go home. Let's confirm the mission. The remnants of BFF's forces have taken hold of the Zextex Global Airport. Eliminate them. They're primarily a squad of normals, but they're equipped with long-range sniper cannons, so react accordingly. We're dropping you away from the site to avoid sniper attacks, but you need to keep contamination levels to a minimum so the airport can still be used once recovered. A quick approach is your best bet against their special weaponry. Get in there fast, and get the job done. Those are your orders. This is a protected area. We don't have much time. Engage and eliminate the enemy squadron ASAP. Of all enemy units confirmed. The mission was a success.
See, under these lighting conditions, the textures do look actually okay for the armored core. But some of the lighting conditions we encountered early in the game made it seem more
I'm glad you're all
sort of
right.
bland.
Let's go home.
Made it seem like there were no textures.
Let's confirm the mission. Silent Avalanche, the security unit at the former BFF's Kojima Energy Facility, Sphere, has persisted in resisting. We need you to eliminate them. BFF put their pride and all of their resources on the line to build Sphere. It's the largest facility of its kind and filled with cutting-edge Kojima technology. Several companies have tried their hand at taking it over in the past, but Silent Avalanche has sent them all packing. Their normals are specifically adapted for combat on the ice floes and favor long-range sniper cannon attacks. Watch out for snipers camouflaged by the snow. Those are your orders. Your objective is to take down Silent Avalanche. Be especially wary of long-distance sniping
shit.
out there.
Yeah, I've heard this song before. It's actually really good. I'll slow it down for this one.
Your objective is to take down Silent Avalanche. Be especially
FF7.
wary of long-distance sniping out there. What are they trying to prove now that BFF is gone? They can't hold out forever. You're nearing the edge of the combat area. Target destruction confirmed. That leaves 4 of them. Enemy normal destroyed. All objectives neutralized. Silent Avalanche has fallen. The mission was a success. Good work. Please head back.
Yeah, I remember a long time ago I found a playlist on YouTube of just the music from this game. I didn't get any spoilers on the plot, but I just got to listen to some of the music and I was like, damn, some of it's really good. It's mostly hit and miss, but
let's go home.
the songs that do hit, they hit hard. Isn't this the one we just did? Futile Resistance?
Let's confirm the mission. Armed terrorists have struck the former BFF's Kojima Energy Facility, Sphere. You're to take them out. The terrorists are former Sphere staff. They've activated an experimental normal designed for extreme climbs and have holed themselves up inside the Kojima tank. They've made a list of impossible demands, saying they'll cause a meltdown if not met. If allowed to happen, this would cause the worst contamination in history by far. The concentration of Kojima particles inside that tank is extremely high. Expect it not only to weaken your primal armor, but actively damage your craft. Be careful in there. Those are your orders. Eliminate all experimental enemy normals. Kojima particle concentrations in the area are higher than expected. There's no way to avoid craft damage. Take the objectives out as quickly as possible. Kojima particle density is higher in the lower levels. Expect greater damage the further down you go.
I like the 3D radar design. I know I'm blocking out a lot of it, but I like how it shows you how far above or below you are with that green bar.
Destruction of target craft. 3 units remain. Objective destroyed. Only one left. No more enemy signatures detected within the sphere. The mission was a success. Good work. Please head back.
Kojima particles.
I'm glad you're all right. Let's go home.
What's this chapter called? Death comes as the end.
Let's confirm the mission. Destroy Ray Leonard's anti-satellite cannon, the Ehrenberg, before it can shoot down GA's surveillance satellite. We expect a large-scale defensive force, but you'll need to pay special attention to the high-density primal armor protecting the Ehrenberg's core. GA's surveillance satellite is approaching the Ehrenberg's firing range. There isn't much time. Get in there and get the job done. Those are your orders. Your objective is the Ehrenberg anti-satellite cannon. Time is limited. Neutralize it before it can take down that satellite. You're nearing the edge of the combat area.
She is saying from how loud this shit is. I'm glad the subtitles are there. Holy shit.
Massive Kojima reaction detected in its subterranean core. It's going to blow. Get away from the Ehrenberg.
Oh.
Good work. Please head back.
Jeez, the explosion like actually reached us, but mostly like the light from it, I guess, didn't actually damage us.
I'm glad you're all right. Let's go home.
Yeah, there's so much going on in this story, and so you get it in such little pieces through mission briefings mostly, that it's hard to follow what the fuck is even going on. So I haven't commented much. I'm just like, I don't even know what the fuck is happening. I assume everything will just be made clear by the end. So I'm just watching. I'm just watching.
Sol Dios is approaching Sing, Asia's largest colony. You are to intercept it. Sol Dios is likely the completed form of the prototype developed in the former GAE's Haida arsenal.
And this is part of the problem. There are way too many fucking like factions and stuff. Like there's 6 companies, only 5 now after we destroyed one of them, but like, and then there's the terrorist groups, and then there's the names of all their like technologies and stuff and weapons, and it's a lot to keep track of, man. Without the email system from previous games that kind of help, you know, keep you up to speed between just mission briefings. Here it's like just mission briefings, and then occasionally that old man will come on and tell us some shit, but it's just like, what the fuck is happening, man?
With a massive Kojima cannon and high-density primal armor. We've confirmed several of these models are crushing nearby colonies underfoot while converging on Sing. The Aspina colony has received a similar call for help. They've dispatched White Glint, a next for hire. Try to rendezvous and work together if possible. Those are your orders. The 2 of you can do this. I'm sure of it.
Oh, and that's Joshua O'Brien in White Glint. Okay. That's the one that the narrator was saying
Enemy behemoth, Sol Dios,
was our only hope along with the main character.
They're closing on Sing from 2 directions. White Glint is in charge of stopping the eastern contingent. You intercept the larger western squad. Take them all down. We're being hailed. It's White Glint. Opening a channel now.
This is White Glint. Hey, Raven. I've heard good things. Let's get this done.
Hell yeah, brother.
Dylan!
Energy
Son
spike
of a
detected.
bitch.
Opening shields to use the Sol Dios cannon. Take out the exposed cannon.
Take out the exposed cannon before it fires. Bam! Oh god.
Sol Dios destroyed by White Glint. Sol Dios destroyed by White Glint. Amazing. He's overwhelming. All Sol Dios units defeated. Thanks for another successful mission. Good work. Please head
Dylan!
back.
You son of a bitch.
Throwing everything away in order to protect what matters most. You and Joshua are a lot alike. Let's go home. I'm glad you're safe.
They gotta give us more on these characters at some point. Like, what did she mean by that, you know? We're near the end of the game and we still haven't really figured out any of the personal motives behind our character or the, Fiona, I guess, or whatever her name is supposed to be.
Let's confirm the mission.
What's this mission called again? Death comes at the end, okay.
Let's confirm the mission. Please eliminate Ray Leonard's next, Orleans. The Lynx is Anjou, the number 3 original. She's said to have taken down more Ravens than anyone else during the National Dismantlement War. Though currently working as a solo commando, her activities all follow a predictable pattern. She's purposefully luring enemy nests out. Orleans is armed with a unique high-output blade. Be extremely cautious when engaging in close-range combat. Those are your orders. You can't lose now.
Because we've come this far, right? So they still call them Ravens? She said she took out so many Ravens during the Dismantlement War, so that's the first time I think I hear them use that name. Why was there was no voice for that? Also, he changed his color scheme finally. She's a sword fighter.
Orleans has gone silent. The mission was a success.
Was this some kind of weird camouflage or just
Please
what
head
the hell's
back.
up with this color scheme? That was a quick fight too. That blade is strong that he's using.
She looked like she was actually enjoying herself out there.
Mm-hmm.
I was so worried.
Sounded like it.
I'm relieved that it was you who won. You should get some rest now. Sleep well, soldier.
Another one?
Let's confirm the mission. You'll report to the former Peace City area to provide backup for allies engaging an enemy squad of super elite Nexts. There are 4 Nexts in total, and each Lynx is a top-numbered original. Be especially careful of number 1, Berlioz. Berlioz's record in battle is peerless. He's extremely flexible in his thinking, unusual among originals. He'll use parts made by any company to win, and no one can argue with the results. This mission is extremely dangerous. Fighting multiple Nexts simultaneously will undoubtedly prove your harshest challenge yet. Those are your orders. Don't die out there.
It's you versus like 4 or 5 of them or something. Well, we've had similar situations in previous Armored Core games, so here we go again.
Combat is already underway. Get in there and provide backup for our allies. There are 4 enemy Nexts. Our side is already down to 2. They have the obvious numerical advantage. Divide and conquer. I believe it. Come back to us safe. Leonhard, Kevin is back.
Hey, thanks for coming. Sorry, got us outnumbered. Let's get to it.
Enemy reinforcement sighted. It's Anatolia's mark. Anatolia? Alright, it's that fossil.
Oh,
Donkey, here is a skilled soldier.
You bastard!
It's Barry.
You son of a bitch!
I've made my peace.
I like the use of words there.
Enemy Next. Hilarious.
That's very
Destroy.
poetic. This is war, I've made my peace. It fits, and very poetic at the same time. I like that.
As good. You are strong.
Enemy Next. Rough cut destroyed.
Junkie. Is this my fault?
Enemy Next. Red Cap destroyed.
At least we had one partner to help.
Target destroyed.
Call me sentimental, but I wish we'd met under different circumstances.
All enemy Nexts destroyed. You made it through. The mission was a success. Good work.
I wonder why sometimes the voices
Head
don't
back.
play for some of the dialogue. Shit happened too fast, maybe? I don't know.
anything out there. I can still barely believe it. All of this is so unfair to ask of you. Once this war is over, let's get away from all of this. You should get some rest now. Sleep well, soldier.
She wants to go on vacation after everything's over. Okay. Where do you want to go, babe? Hawaii? This will lead to the next chapter.
Destroy Ray Leonard's central headquarters, Exaville. Exaville is an extremely unique structure. If you destroy the pillars, which are set in a fan shape around the facility, the whole thing should lose balance and come tumbling down. Ray Leonard's Nexts have already been exterminated, but Exaville is likely still fortified with a tremendous amount of firepower. Don't get cocky. Those are your orders. This should finish everything. Your objective is Ray Leonard's headquarters, Exaville. This is the last of them. Let's get to it. Exaville pillar successfully destroyed. The facility's balance has begun to falter. We're looking good. Continue removing the pillars. Exaville pillar destroyed. You're doing great. Keep an eye on enemy troops and continue like this. Another of Exaville's pillars destroyed. The facility is nearing its limits. Keep at it. Shock detected within Exaville's core facility. It's starting to fall. Get out of there. Exaville is falling. Mission accomplished. Ray Leonard is gone. When did things escalate to this? At least this is the end. You've done an excellent job.
People are still getting shot to pieces, by the way. Even at normal speed, the dialogue moves at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Like, it doesn't even sound dramatic what she's saying because the line deliveries are too fast.
We've received word from Emil. He says that Joshua was successful in destroying Akvavit, too. So this is the end of the Lynx War. So many people dead, and the environment is shambles. All for such selfish reasons. It might still be going on right now, if not for you. You've done well. Thank you. Let's go home. Back to Anatolia.
Ray Leonard and Akvavit went down together. History's worst war yet came to a close, leaving the planet contaminated. It seemed that the companies were too busy picking up the pieces of the shattered order to wage war. Anatolia had accrued enough payment to survive for the time being. She requested a leave of absence for him, and I accepted. I suppose we were naive. The world exists in a continuous state of terror, convenient to its leaders' purposes.
It's like real life, yeah. Sadly. Well, at least the game's story continues to be quite politically relatable, I suppose, if that's a way of putting it. And then there were none. No wonder Chapter 4 said
we've confirmed
heading
an
towards
unidentified
zero.
craft approaching Anatolia. That's... Why is that armored core here? Stay back. Something's not right here.
The hell just happened? Yo, is she okay, bro? In the last 5 minutes, I guess we'll find out.
Hey,
Hey,
I guess there's little need for words.
The betrayal. I'm glad they're playing this song. This song's good. It's the Armored Core from the intro, right? Looks like it. Damn, this game is dark, dude. Like, it's just the lighting effects. Games are trying to be really hard to become very cinematic and movie-like. They still do today, but I mean, they were really making a hard push for it
Hey, can you hear me?
in like the PS3 era.
Thank you.
Alright, yeah, time to look up the plot because I have no idea what the fuck we just watched. Music's good though. It felt all over the place, but I think it's because of what I said that, you know, it's hard for me to keep up the first time through. Any post-credit scene?
She took him and left Anatolia. I had no right to stop them, no words to keep them here. I'll stop my telling here. It isn't my place to speak of what happened after that.
So during the credits, I got 2 paragraphs in. It recapped with a little bit more clearer detail what they talked about near the beginning, yeah. The last 2 paragraphs of the plot synopsis are the actual, like, what we watched. The first 2 seemed to just be, like, background, and I was like, okay, now I get a little bit more of what's happening. It said, amid overpopulation, dwindling resources, and civil unrest, 6 major corporations launch a coordinated global uprising known as the National Dismantlement War. We heard about that war in the game, but I didn't quite know what it was referring to. Which overthrows all countries on Earth and ushers in a new world order of corporate enforced peace, the Pax Economica. I was like, I see, so that's what he was talking about. The counterfeit peace, as he called it. To efficiently redistribute resources, people are relocated into oppressively managed settlements called colonies and forced into hard labor. I do remember him vaguely mentioning that. However, a technological gap opens between the corporations with the advent of Kojima technology, which utilizes potent and hazardous Kojima particles as energy. Kojima technology is instrumental in the creation of next generation armored core mechs, and the corporations begin waging a shadow war among themselves for control of it. That's basically what we were seeing at the beginning of the game. 5 years into the Pax Economica, the corporate enforced peace, the colony of Anatolia enters a financial crisis. Anatolia is one of a handful of colonies that enjoys autonomy from the corporations, but this was solely due to the wealth of the late Professor Jarnefelt, a leading next engineer. Upon Jarnefelt's death, most of his staff defected to the corporate research colony Aspina, which we saw that, severing Anatolia's income stream, and leadership of the colony fell to Emil Gustav, one of Jarnefelt's researchers. To keep Anatolia funded, Emil modifies a veteran armored core pilot into a lynx. As I saw them use that word, but I don't know what it means. It's capital letters, so I assume it's an acronym. Then gives him a next, and sells his services as a mercenary to corporations that lack their own necks. So Emil, I can assume, is the narrator then. Fiona Jarnefelt, the professor's daughter, agrees to act as the pilot's operator. This pilot is the player character who's also referred to as Anatolia's mercenary. I gathered that much at least. And so Fiona, was our operator. At first, Anatolia's mercenary is only hired to counter rebel attacks, but he steps into the spotlight by defeating the rebel lynx Amazigh. We saw that at the beginning, yeah. He then receives more lucrative and dangerous jobs fighting in skirmishes between rival companies until he is tasked by Global Armaments, one of the 6 major corporations, with assaulting a GA subsidiary that plans to secede. And GA is Global Armaments, okay. The mission is successful but provokes another company named Aquavit into declaring war on Global Armaments. Yeah, I remember that in the story. That makes a little more sense what happened. This gives the 6 major corporations an excuse to openly break the Pax Economica, instead of the shadow wars they were doing with terrorists at the beginning third of the game. I see, yeah. Now it's starting to make more sense what we saw. Instigating the Lynx War. Aquavit gains the backing of the Bernard and Felix Foundation. That was BFF. Leona Mechanica and Ray Leonard. That's 1, 2, 3. Okay. While Global Armaments forges an alliance with Ekbal and Rosenthal, and so it's 3 versus 3. That's what was happening. Throughout the enormously destructive conflict that ensues, the reputation of Anatolia's mercenary grows as he takes on missions for the GA coalition. Notably, he assassinates BFF's entire leadership by sinking their seaborne headquarters. I remember that mission, yeah. The Lance something or other, the boat. Protects Anatolia from a retaliatory strike by an Aquavit developed superweapon, the thing that happened in the tunnel, and leads critical operations against the increasingly desperate Ray Leonard. The conflict culminates in the dissolution of both Ray Leonard and Aquavit. At the same time that Ray Leonard's headquarters is destroyed by Anatolia's mercenary, that one of those last missions we did, Aquavit's headquarters is coincidentally destroyed by a Lynx from Espina named Joshua O'Brien. With the Lynx War over, Anatolia finds itself with a comfortable amount of funds. Unfortunately, Joshua carries out a surprise attack on the colony in a prototype next and razes most of it to the ground before he is vanquished. Like, everything we did was for nothing then. And that prototype next was the one we fought at the end, yeah. Fiona and Anatolia's mercenary then decide to leave Anatolia, with Emil unable and unwilling to persuade them to stay. So yet again, it almost pretty much just, yeah. So it follows a lot of similar themes to some of the previous games, especially the recent ones like Nexus and Last Raven, which is like the theme of what the hell was even the point? Like, what the hell? What good came from this? From war, essentially. It's just senseless violence and bloodshed. It just leads to destruction and death and nothing else. And that's it. In the grand scheme of things, that's all it's good for. So yeah, it follows that same sort of theme. Interesting. I feel like the cutscenes and dialogue though definitely leave out too much for you to get all this. This was told in 4 paragraphs, but they're pretty large paragraphs. It took me a while to read it all just now, right? But it's told in a way too summarized way in the story, which is why I was kind of lost. I was like, I don't get what the hell is happening. Like, I feel like the story moved too fast. It's almost like the game really was rushed. Like, I kind of feel like it was rushed, but I wanted to like give it a chance and be like, no, maybe this is just how it is. But I still feel like it was. Like, it's like the fact that it's an hour and a half shorter than Armored Core Nexus. Like that one, look at the playlist. That one was 3.5 hours. You know? Even Silent Line was 2:47. This was over in 2 hours. Armored Core 3 was 3 hours and 19 minutes. Like, it feels a little rushed. Like, it's definitely shorter because they were trying... Not only were they working with technology that was new and they hadn't worked with before, the developers, but they were also trying to make it obviously very cinematic, but then also trying to release it on time to be a launch title for PS3. That's what it feels like. And so that's why I think the plot moved too fast and was too vague for me to get all of this. That so much that I had to read the plot on Wikipedia, which is what I just did, just to actually get exactly what the fuck happened. It felt way too vague. Like, there's a reason the email system existed for the previous Armored Cores, because that gives you a lot more backstory and lore, properly so, between missions, because mission briefings just don't do enough. Especially these ones. The mission briefings in this game were way too... They were straight to the point, which is good if you just want to play the fucking game, right? But if you're trying to understand the story, it's kind of like, dude, what the fuck is even happening? And again, another big problem is the fact that there's so many different entities. The 6 different companies and their own names, and then they all get their own acronyms, and if you didn't memorize their name, you won't know which acronym is referring to which company. I don't know when I missed it. I know he did talk about it and say it, like, I have a vague recollection of it. The whole 3 of the companies teaming up against the other 3, basically. But yeah, it felt like it moved a little too fast to follow that, to follow exactly what was happening. Now that I've read this, if I rewatch this, yeah, I'll be like, oh yeah, I get what's going on. Totally. But it's kind of it's just kind of funny that I had to read the plot on Wikipedia just to really understand what the hell was happening, and I didn't have to do that with any of the previous games. Now, that could be because I'm familiar with them already, because I played all the previous games up to this point as a kid. I don't think so, though. I feel like it was pretty... They were really well explained, except for the first game. The first game is the one where you do have to read between the lines quite a bit. Not as much as... I don't know. As much as this game, who knows? But, you know, that ending for the first Armored Core is kind of like, what the fuck was even just happening? Like, if you weren't really reading between the lines, you might have to do the same thing as this game. Like, look it up on Wikipedia and be like, what the fuck did I just watch or play? But I feel like the rest of the games, besides the first one, were very straightforward and clear about their plot and didn't have as much vagueness, or maybe not vagueness, but they didn't move so fast that you were like unable to keep up. where it's just kind of like, wait, what the fuck is actually happening right now? Which is how I felt with this game. I feel like it was moving way too fast. And again, I think this is evidenced by the time. The fact that we finished it in 2 hours, as opposed to the previous games that were like 3 or more, you know? Look, even Armored Core 2, the original. I'm not counting Armored Core 2 Another Age because that doesn't have a story. It's just a shit ton of missions, so of course it's 5.5 hours. But yeah, look, Armored Core 1, 2.5 hours, half an hour longer than this. Armored Core 2, 242. Armored Core 3, 319. Silent Line, 247. Nexus, 337. Now, Last Raven is short if you only do one ending, sure. You only get 1 hour. But combine all of these, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's like 7 to 8 hours. That's longer than Armored Core 2 Another Age. But that's because you're just replaying the same story in different ways, you know? That being said, yeah, if you only play out Last Raven once and only do one ending, you'll be just as confused and be like, what the fuck did I even just like with this game? But if you actually replay it as many times as we did and do all the routes, then you get the full picture of the story. This one, I'm like, if I didn't read the plot, I would have had to rewatch it 2 or 3 times to really probably to fully understand. I hope no one. I kind of want to read the comments, but at the same time, I'm afraid of any of them spoiling the next game if it's a direct sequel, if it's related or not. Let me see what the description says. Armored Core 4 was meant to be a breath of fresh air for the series. I would agree that it needed it. I'm afraid to scroll too far down because, like I said, I don't want to. If he put like spoilers for the next, you know, game or something, I'm afraid to run into that. I would agree that it needed it. There are quite a few mechanical changes which I won't bother listing here, but put simply, there's a heavy emphasis on speed and general mobility, which I like that. This game did seem way more fun than the previous ones because of that. There are no branching storing paths. I will be showing every mission since you could do them all in a single playthrough. This was 100% all the missions. This game is short then. Being emulated via RPCS3, no joke. Okay. Very close to being perfect, but I'd do a full reset of the emulator for every mission to avoid texture issues. Holy shit, that's annoying. This is with write and read color buffers enabled. There's also a mission that cannot be played with write or read color buffers enabled, and you'll see some strange stuff. That explains the inconsistencies with the visuals, where I was like, you know what, that thing where I said, is that like some weird camouflage? That must be the mission he's talking about, where he had to fight that one. It was just fighting that opponent next. Normal mode Armored Core 4 is, in my opinion, the easiest Armored Core in the series. It does seem like he breezed right through that. So at some point I was actually thinking, is he playing New Game Plus? Why is everything dying so quick and he takes such little damage and he's able to dodge everything so easily? Like, just watching, I could tell it was way easier, but part of me was just thinking maybe he's just that good at the game. Maybe he's doing New Game Plus, because it seems like he started the game with a pretty powerful mech already. So, I started with the Alia frame. There are no hidden parts in any mission. It was nice to fight ACs that weren't blatantly cheating again after slogging through Last Raven. Desert Wolf, the pilot has some dialogue. Unfortunately, there can be no mercy until he must die instantly. What the fuck? The Womb, as much as I would like to blade these things, attempting to blade usually causes you to take a massive amount of damage since it seems like they can instantly counterswing. Yeah, I'm trying not to like accidentally run into comments because they might spoil anything from the next game if it's connected to this. Soul deals, grenades do splash damage and the splash can hit the weak spot on the bottom side. This avoids the Kojima explosion and dealing with the wonky lock on for the sphere. Jardin the Chevalier, this mission crashes the emulator if write read color buffers are enabled. Turning them off causes textures to not load correctly on ACs. You get the Moonlight Blade for completing the... Oh, okay. Yeah, I think that was the one where the colors and textures on the AC were fucked. Okay, and so at the end, it's just your main character and Fiona just walk off into the sunset, and that's it. It's over, I guess. Going back to the story, I guess, yeah, that's it. Maybe there's more to it in the next game, Armored Core 4 Answer, but again, I, don't want to spoil it for myself. It looks like that one's gonna have 3 different story paths. Oh, and the next video seems to be a hard mode playthrough. I don't think that changes the story, though. Here, I'll just let it go into it. Let's see what the... Oh, yeah, there you go. You get a mission list, and then you just decided to do a challenge run of doing hard mode for all the missions, I guess. I see. Please refer to my normal mode video for part setup and the story. You can't replay the post-mission cutscenes on hard mode. Okay, it's not possible to start the game immediately on hard mode? I'm continuing from a normal mode playthrough, so it's like a new game plus. You have to play it on normal first. Hard mode alters every mission, typically by simply increasing the number of enemies. Usually it's pretty noticeable, but sometimes it's not. There are some missions that are practically identical to the normal mode version because the change only comes into play when you're losing. Being emulated via RPCS3, no joke. I think he says a lot of the same. Shockwave memes. Okay, so yeah, this is kind of... Thank you. This is kind of what I was looking for too. There's no extra ending, it just ends. Hard mode was sort of tacked on. Okay. I was just making sure. That's the other like, I wanted to see what hard mode was. It's exactly what I expected it. But I low-key wanted to see if there was like an extra ending, because it seems like it's so vague and it just ends like that. Again, rushed game is rushed. I think at this point I can sort of tell that this game is semi-rushed. Maybe not like as much, not by today's standard. By today's standards, when you see a game that's rushed, it's very like, it's like this, but like 10 times worse. Like it's very bad. When you, like, you can totally tell when a game is rushed. You're just like, Jesus Christ, like it's a buggy miss. This, at least, the only bugs we saw and the only ones he mentioned are from emulator, and that's it. Like, but the game itself seems to be totally fine. It actually works. This is from the era where they actually released games complete. But then once they realized that aside from being able to sell people extra components such as downloadable content, that they could release patches to fix games, which also began in this era, that's when it slowly started to shift towards, let's just release the game incomplete and then make a day one patch. So essentially they start printing the game when it wasn't complete yet, and then they get the developers to keep working on the game, to keep looking for bug fixes and stuff, and whatever they could get done by the release day, they just then release it as a downloadable patch, a day one patch, essentially. But the actual printed disc version was like printed 2 months ago, where all the bugs are still there, that they only fixed within the last 2 months of release, and then released a day one patch to fix them. So if you had no internet, you got the buggy, shitty prototype, essentially, of the game as the full release copy, when it really, was obviously incomplete and still full of glitches and bugs. That happened towards the end of the PS3 era and the early PS4 era, essentially. During the early PS3 era, though, they still had enough respect for the art form to actually finish the damn game properly before releasing it. So a rushed game didn't have glitches and bugs, at least. It just kind of did this instead, where the story just moved way too fast, but at least the game was still quality. The story just moved too fast and had like an abrupt and vague ending, but at least the game was fucking playable and enjoyable. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. I think I'd rather that than an incomplete buggy mess that has to be patched immediately. But yeah, okay, what an abrupt ending. Just like, you came, you conquered, you left. No real elaboration on the relationship between your character and your operator, because she seems deeply worried about him and all the time, and like there's some kind of past history there. And then it's just, yeah. And yeah, the narrator is literally just like, yeah, I used them both, essentially. My own daughter and, this veteran Armored Core pilot that I'm, like, biologically engineered and modified or whatever, to pilot this next at superhuman levels, like this Human Plus program almost all over again. So he could be a mercenary for corporations to bring in money for all of us in Anatolia, the colony, the independent colony, fortunate enough to be independent. But then at the end, we get destroyed too by, you know, what's his name? Joshua, who was an ally towards the end of the war. And then they don't even explain why he did it. I guess they're just expecting you to kind of be like, you know, the other companies that you worked so hard for and the ones employing Joshua just saw you as a threat in the end anyway. So they were just like, go kill him and destroy his whole hometown, Anatolia, I guess. Anatolia finds itself with a comfortable amount of funds, but then, unfortunately, Joshua carries out a surprise attack on the colony and a prototype next, and razes most of it to the ground before he is vanquished by you. The GA coalition was what? Ekbal, Rosenthal, and, well, GA, Global Armaments. Up against BFF, Leona Mechanica, and Ray Leonard. I'm reparsing the last two paragraphs a little bit. These critical operations. So that explains why the operator, why she freaked out, because she was obviously in the city that got Anatolia in the final mission. Yeah. These critical operations against the increasingly desperate Ray Leonard. Because then they're left alone eventually. Why does it not say whatever happened to Leona Mechanica in the last paragraph? I guess it's because it's just a brief summary. Yeah, because it just says Aquavit and Ray Leonard and Aquavit get destroyed at the same time that Ray Leonard's headquarters is destroyed, which that was a mission we did. By Anatolia's mercenary. Aquavit's headquarters is coincidentally destroyed by a lynx from Espina named Joshua O'Brien. Espina was a corporate research colony, right? Yeah, there's still like some tiny plot holes here and there that I'm personally just probably like missing because this is a brief summary. And I'd probably just have to rewatch it, but it doesn't change the overall message at the end and how abrupt the ending is too. These completely underdeveloped characters that we could give a fuck about because of how underdeveloped they are just walk off into the sunset at the end of it all. And everything lies in ruins. Because as always, that's all good. That's all war is good for. And that's it. Game over. Okay. I guess that's it then. Yeah, Fiona and Anatolia's mercenary then decide to leave Anatolia with Emil unable and unwilling to persuade them to stay. They're like, there, we made you money. Enjoy living in the ashes of the colony. Hope it was worth it. We're out of here. The most character development we got was like literally 1 or 2 sentences from Fiona saying, you know, it's unfair that you're being put through all this just to make money for Anatolia, basically. And that we should get away from it all when it's all over. And that is indeed what they do. Anatolia being left in shambles? No, not really their problem. We did what we could. I guess I guess the only thing lingering in my mind is they never really explained the motives for Joshua doing what he did. I'll rewind to probably the second to last, the one of the last narration scenes, just to see if maybe he said something there in the actual story for it. Why was this the most replayed?
Those are your orders.
That's so weird.
Good work.
Yeah, because Joshua helps
Thanks for
here,
another
right? But it was
successful
after.
mission.
It was only after what's his name
Glad you're
talks
alright.
about it.
Object-
Where was the chapter end where the narrator talks about this?
Ice flow.
The music is really good, I gotta say.
Units confirmed.
I don't think it was this far back. Wait, here, let me see.
Omer's done.
Let's see.
Increase.
Let me rewatch this one.
What does
I don't think this is the
mean?
one that talks about Joshua though.
Queen's Land. The attack on the Queen's lands. It was this mission which sealed the fate of the Pax Economica.
I'll put it in 1.25.
The massive BFF group lost its military infrastructure. Ray Leonard's fragility as a nascent corporation had become increasingly apparent, leading them to increasingly direct and risky tactics. A direct next attack on their enemy's core. Ray Leonard and its ally Aquavit pooled their nexts and the dangerous new behemoths and launched a large-scale surprise assault. So began the Lynx War. Massive colonies toppled helplessly. New behemoths and launched a large-scale surprise assault helplessly, while Kojima contamination spread unchecked.
This is like nuclear
Large-scale
radiation,
surprise assault.
basically.
So began the Lynx War. After taking a fatal blow in the early days of the assault and being driven into a defensive war, Omer's last hope was Joshua O'Brien, an Aspina mercenary and our man. Those two were unparalleled on the battlefield. It was enough to make even me, an ally, anxious, even afraid.
See, yeah, this plot summary didn't even mention Omer. Who the fuck is Omer? Is that just referring to like one of the alliances? That's what I don't know. I'm seeing if there was another cutscene before. I think it's just the one where he says the war's over, but we were naive to think that, you know, we could just like walk off into the sunset. Anatolia as a whole, basically. Yeah, I think it's right here.
Let's get. You've done an excellent job.
Okay.
Too. He says that Josh. We've received word from Emil. He says that Joshua was successful in destroying Aquavit too. So this is the end of the Lynx War. So many people dead, and the environment is shambles. All for such selfish reasons. It might still be going on right now if not for you. You've done well. Thank you.
It's selfish reasons, yeah, that summarizes capitalism as a whole, yeah. Corporate capitalism in particular,
Let's go home.
but
Back
just
to
in general.
Anatolia.
Yeah.
Ray Leonard and Aquavit went down together. History's worst war yet came to a close, leaving the planet contaminated. It seemed that the companies were too busy picking up the pieces of the shattered order to wage war. Anatolia had accrued enough payment to survive.
What does he mean by that when it's already over? Like what? Anatolia had accrued enough payment to survive for the time being.
Time being, she requested a leave of absence for him, and I accepted. I suppose we were naive. The world exists in a continuous state of terror, convenient to its leaders' purposes.
That's all he says. That doesn't really say anything about why Joshua does what he does. Because yeah, this is the final mission and then the ending.
We've confirmed an unidentified craft approaching Anatolia. That's... Why is that armored core here? Stay back! Something's not right here!
Yeah, that's just kind of left vague.
Hey.
Like, the war ended, but then this guy shows up and he doesn't even say why he's doing this. He just goes, hey.
I guess there's little need for words.
And that's it. Alright, I guess... Yeah, vague story is vague, dude. Unless I missed something, it's just a super vague storyline. I'm looking at reception.
So, this is the end. This is for the best.
More accessible? Yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, they finally added online multiplayer in this game. I guess that's about it.
Hey, can you hear me? Thank you.
The music is really good in this game. Lynx is a name given to a pilot of highly advanced next armored cores. But they never explain what it really stands for. Okay. Armored Core 2 Another Age was the only game before this to have online multiplayer, but only for the Japanese release. Alright, I guess I got all the answers I'm gonna get here. If there's any more answers to be gleaned from the plot of this game, it'll be from the sequel. which I only read the first 2 words of the synopsis to make sure to stop there and not spoil anything, which was that it takes place 5 years after this. So I was like, well, hopefully that might shed some more light on what the fuck just happened, or maybe actually bring back some of the characters from this game so we can get more closure on them. But I'm not holding my breath. Armored Core rarely does that. Armored Core, the Armored Core series rarely gives proper closure on its characters. I mean, you look at the ending.
She took him and left Anatolia. I had no right to stop them, no words to keep them here. I'll stop my telling here. It isn't my place to speak of what happened after that.
So either that is the end, it's that fucking vague, or they're hinting at the sequel that came out 2 years later, which is For Answer. It takes place 5 years later. Like I said, even if that is the case, I'm not holding my breath for any kind of real closure on with the characters and everything else. I don't think we'll get anything like that. So that plot summary, along with rewatching some of the scenes, I guess that's as much as I'm gonna get out of the story for this game. I guess, yeah, it is very just vague, simple, straight to the point, and then just has, you know, the walk off into the sunset ending for the characters, while leaving you with the message that, you know, corporate greed, capitalism, might as well just say it that way, and war just leads to death and destruction, and that's it. Which is, yeah, that's a common reoccurring theme in almost every storyline of this entire franchise. It's like the whole premise behind most of the stories being that you're a mercenary working for corporations and all that. So, you know, that's nothing new. But outside of that, you know, cool game, I guess. Outside of the story being a little too fast for me to have kept up with it, and being kind of vague, you know, not really, didn't really feel too fleshed out. It felt like it moved really fast and yada yada. Outside of that, you know, simple, there's nothing wrong with a simple, straight to the point story like that. And like I said, it maintained the same themes from previous games. The same, like, social commentary, political commentary was there. So I like and respect that. That's cool. The gameplay looked much more fun than previous Armored Core games. So now somebody did say here in the reception part on the Wikipedia article that the game was criticized for having repetitive missions. I mean, yeah, that's why I started, you know, I didn't read any of this before watching this, and I mean, that is the reason I started speeding up the, you know, most of the playthrough we started going at 1.25 speed, because I felt that too. It felt like not a lot of the plot advances in the missions, more so in, well, I guess it's because most of the missions, I don't know how it's structured, but yeah, most of the missions just kind of felt like whatever. It was only the chapter ending missions that really mattered for the story, and then the Emil narrating the things happening between chapters, and that was it. So, but yeah, I guess, you know, solid game. And for its time, apparently it was very good, for sure, because it got good, you know, it got praised pretty well. A 32 out of 40, you know, not perfect, but still good. That was in what? Famitsu? In some places, yeah, like some places it got like an 8 out of 10. Other places, or other Electronic Gaming Monthly gave it a 4 out of 10. But yeah, I'm seeing a lot of 7 out of 10s here from different places, so yeah, it was just, you know, good game, but that's it. Like, not super over the top, like, oh my god, it's amazing. But I mean, most Armored Core games, I think, are seen that way by most people. They're just, you know, they're good, but, you know, whatever. Like that kind of thing. But yeah, I mostly just dwelled on this after we finished, just because I was trying to sort of really process the story. When it's my first playthrough or watch through of a game's story, especially when it was as fast paced as this one and kind of vague at the same time, this thing kind of happens. I'll kind of just dwell on it at the end and just talk about it to myself or to you guys here, and just try to really process what the fuck just happened. I think I'm done. I think I've gleaned as much as I'm going to, so that's it. I still have time, so I'm going to take a little break, and then we can start Armored Core For Answer. How long is that one? Well, there's 3 endings, and the first one's an hour and a half, so we'll probably get through 1 at least today. And then tomorrow I'll do the other 2. And then we can do Armored Core 5, which isn't on this playlist, by the way. Which, again, I think is probably a testament to... I heard while looking around for... Because I noticed it wasn't on the playlist, I went looking for different videos, and I found a few. Just in case one of them like is too shitty, we can switch to a different playthrough. So I found a few playthroughs of Armored Core 5. But in doing that, I also saw a bunch of clickbaity thumbnails and YouTube videos saying, like, why you shouldn't play this game, it sucks ass, and yada yada. I was like, oh, I see. If it has a bad reputation, that explains why this guy didn't put it in his playlist. It's because he didn't bother playing it because he probably heard bad things too. Or maybe he played it for a little bit, realized it sucked, and then just, yeah, is like, fuck that. So yeah, he skips all the way to Armored Core 6, which just came out a few months ago. We'll watch Armored Core 5 though. Hopefully one of the playthroughs I found will be a good one to watch, right? One of the no commentary playthroughs that I found. But anyway, let's not get ahead of ourselves. First we gotta get to For Answer, which is a sequel to this. Takes place 5 years later. That's all I saw, and I looked away and changed the article. I was like, I don't want any spoilers. So yeah, we'll come back for that. I'm gonna take my break before it gets any later, or else we won't even get to one ending. This one. But yeah, so that's it. I'm done sort of rambling and trying to process what the fuck we just watched. I think I'm good now. I've gotten all I think we're gonna get, and I just have to deal with that and be like, huh. Because it left me wanting a little bit more, especially the ending. I mean, who wouldn't, right? But it's like, I don't know, whatever. It is what it is. As long as the sequel follows up well, lore-wise and story-wise, I'll be happy. If not, I'll just kind of be like, huh. Like, damn, that sucks. Oh well. Like, because yeah, it takes place 5 years later, but it may have nothing to do with this. It may just like not even, like I said, I don't expect it to follow up with the characters. Armored Core games never do that. They never tell you what the fuck happened to the main character pilot of the previous game. And each game has always been like generations apart. Hopefully For Answer is an exception to that. It lives up to its name and gives you answers to what happened here, because it takes place just 5 years later. Most other Armored Core games before this are sequels that take place like fucking years later, like generations later, so they rarely like connect back to each other directly too much. I think the closest ones were Armored Core 3 and Silent Line, but then Nexus is so far ahead it doesn't even reference the events from these, even though it's still the same universe. So then, like, yeah, Nexus and Last Raven are sort of paired together, but even then, like I said, it's like, what the hell happened to the operator, the operator from the first half of Armored Core Nexus? She just disappears and gets replaced by some other one, and then she becomes irrelevant in Last Raven, as you're just like, you have an operator named Sheila who's a different voice and everything from the 2 you had in Nexus, and like, they don't focus on the characters is what I'm getting at. So I'm fully expecting to probably not hear anything about the Anatolia mercenary, the main character of this game, and Fiona. I'm fully expecting that they will just not even be mentioned, even though the sequel takes place 5 years later. Hopefully, I'm wrong. So, I'll leave you all with that. Thank you very much for watching, as always. We'll come back for a For Answer in a bit, but until then, appreciate the support. Please take care of yourselves. Stay safe out there. Look after each other. Don't die. And until next time, which will be in a little bit, please have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, and good night. And I'll see you then. Peace. I'm gonna go look up the soundtrack of this game when I stop streaming, too. I gotta get some of those videos again.
To speak of what happened to stop them. She took him and left Anatolia. I had no right to stop them, no words to keep them here. I'll stop my telling here. It isn't my place to speak of what happened after that.